Welcome to Team Phoenix's final project. We've been studying Phoenix's urban heat island effect. Team Phoenix is made up of David Burgess, Christopher Moore, Tyler Skripiak, and Albert Vallejo. Here's our man down in Phoenix explaining the urban heat island effect from the street.
This is Dave Burgess with Team Phoenix, and I'm down here in beautiful downtown Phoenix, Arizona, and we're talking about urban heat island. And right here in the middle is where the metro train comes through. So when we're talking about cutting down on CO2 emissions, and actually it is right there. So what happens here is that big old nuclear explosion in the sky there is sending radiation down, shortwave radiation, and it's bouncing off those dark buildings right up there. Yeah. And so it's being absorbed by those buildings and all of this concrete and asphalt right over here. So at night, Phoenix does not cool off at all. It's a very hot city during the summer. It's hot enough with temperatures, but with the heat heating up everything, it really turns it into a really hot place to be at night. So again, as you can see down there, a lot of dark buildings, a lot of asphalt, a lot of traffic, a lot of individual people that are not taking the train with this beautiful public transportation down here. So CO2 emissions, as you can see, are going to be happening for quite a long time until we can actually take more trees, plant them down this busy street, and try to cool off the downtown area. A wonderful, wonderful place down here. And as you can see, there's wherever they can put in a park over there, or at least a green area, not so much a park in an industrial area, but a lot of opportunity to put shade, good green grass, and we have a lot of, here's another dark building here, and a lot more down there, and there's a nice light-colored building. Hopefully they don't heat up as much, but with all those dark windows, you would imagine that they would, and hopefully we can be the team that makes a difference in Phoenix and try to cool this place off at night. It's a beautiful city. We survive every summer, and we wonder how we do it. But hopefully, with our efforts, we can make this an even more beautiful place. Peace out.
Throughout the course, we've been using the Transformational Sustainability Research Framework to look at our sustainable problem. This examines the current state analysis, or where we are, and then looks at future scenarios, which are all the plausible and possible scenarios of where we could be headed. Then we look at where we want to go, looking through the vision sustainable systems to find the goal. And then we look at how we could get there by looking through different sustainable strategies and transitions. Now we have Albert Vallejo and his current state analysis of Phoenix urban heat island.
Hello, my name is Albert Vallejo. I'm from Team Phoenix, and over the course of this semester, we've been studying the urban heat island effect, specifically in Phoenix, Arizona. Over the next few slides, we'll be discussing the current state analysis that this effect is having on our city. Phoenix and other cities like it are experiencing the effects caused by our current building practices and the technology we use to make our lives convenient, the urban heat island. The stakeholders involved, from the residents that crave the convenience of close proximity life and the comfort of automobiles and air conditioners, to the developers that want to get the most value out of every square foot, and the city and county government officials that allow it. We are adding to the heat island effect with every perceived stride forward. While the slide we are viewing is very fatalistic, the trend we are on will make the areas that are experiencing this effect unbearable in the future. If we do not take note of what we are doing, how we perceive our progress, and what we want for ourselves in the future, we may end up fulfilling this vision. Although we began the progress towards this issue over a century ago, when people began to migrate towards the convenience of urban life, the congestion of modern cities combined with the new energy-consuming technologies put in place alongside heat-retaining building materials have caused a noticeable climate change in the Phoenix area over the last 50 years. Winter temperatures have climbed 15 degrees, and summers have shown a noticeable increase on average as well. As you can see from this slide, areas that are developed can show an almost 30-degree difference from areas that are undeveloped or have more vegetation coverage. This visual shows from remote sensing what one can physically feel while traveling from an urban to a rural or less developed area, especially at night. The urban heat island effect is real. We can feel it, and with modern technologies it can be recorded. Our current perceptions of progress must be adjusted so that we can see what we are doing is not acceptable and make a move to technologies and practices that will slow and stop this phenomenon.
Next, we can examine the scenarios, visioning, and indicators of Phoenix's urban heat island. Scenarios, visioning, and indicators of urban heat island. Where is Phoenix headed? Where does Phoenix want to go? And how will we track urban heat islands? Predicting the future is never easy. We used a multiple scenario approach to examine how different rates of adoption of new policies would affect Phoenix urban heat island. The worst case scenario was known as the business as usual approach. This means that nothing would change, no new policies would be adopted. As we can see here on the right, the number of deaths in Maricopa County correlate with the maximum temperatures. So the current trend has temperatures continuing to rise without mitigation, which would lead to more mortalities in the future. Late adoption of new policies is another less than ideal approach. When the problem is left untreated, there will be positive feedbacks that exacerbate the issue. For example, as the city gets hotter, residents will be more inclined to use their cooling systems, which in turn will cause more hot air from the exhaust, overall creating more heat. By the time the city gets around to adopting new policies and trying to effect change, the problem will have grown greater in magnitude. Early adoption of new policies and mitigation strategies is the best scenario. The sooner that stakeholders can begin to act, the quicker the mitigation will begin to occur. Even beginning with small-scale adaptations such as riding bicycles more or using the light rail instead of driving will begin to create the process for a new paradigm shift. The trick will be engaging all the stakeholders and finding quick compromises to the issues that they each hold. Visions describe the future that we want for Phoenix. By engaging the stakeholders to commit to long-term sustainable policies, we can create the best-case scenario for Phoenix. Looking realistically at the best possible solutions, we can imagine a Phoenix with less cars polluting the road. Thanks to Governor Ducey, Arizona is a state that allows for the testing of automated vehicles. In a future scenario, we can imagine a city where self-driving cars are shared by all the residents, reducing the amount of vehicles and emissions on the road. The roads that these cars will drive on will be a reflective and more permeable type of asphalt, allowing for less solar radiation to be absorbed, and for less stormwater issues such as collection of pollutants. Businesses will also have mandatory green spaces on the rooftops to stop the buildings from absorbing and retaining solar radiation. The trees will also help to clean the air of toxins and return moisture back into the air via evapotranspiration. Ultimately, the best Phoenix is one with less emissions, more solar reflection, and more green spaces. Indicators let us measure sustainability by assessing which way the urban heat island issue is headed. We can look at the environmental indicators such as the ambient temperature in Phoenix at night and see if the problem is diminishing, stagnant, or increasing. We can assess how stakeholders are adapting to the problem by looking at new development and zoning practices to see if they're taking into account the urban heat island issues, such as adding more green spaces to each new development. Economically, the amount of money and resources that are being invested in the mitigation strategies will also indicate how much progress Phoenix is making toward future scenario goals. Indicators will help Phoenix plan for its future and assess its transition to a new sustainable state. Thanks. Next, we have Chris explaining the transition strategies for Phoenix's urban heat islands.
Chris Moore from Team Phoenix here. While urban heat island effects may prove ultimately unsolvable, there are a few key strategies we can use to help transition from one of the hottest cities in the world to a cultural hub, a new city of trees. Alright, to start, yes, plant trees, flowers, vines, literally any sort of vegetation that increases the city will dramatically reduce the effects of the urban heat island. Alright, politicians can introduce tax incentives to help encourage citizens of Phoenix to plant and take care of their own vegetation. And for new future developments of Phoenix, we could design skyscrapers to have trees planted on them to simultaneously increase vegetation in Phoenix without taking up any more of the ground floor that will be needed for future development. Another key strategy would be to hire and just encourage local artists to paint the sidewalks, the buildings, stairs, literally everything. The natural color and makeup of cities is a heat trap. Dark, dull colors combined with materials that have a low heat capacity, which just absorbs and traps lots of heat and then radiates it back out. By altering the overall color of the city to more reflective colors, like green, yellow, yada yada, we can naturally reflect more of the heat away from the city while also making the city a lot more beautiful. The increase in vegetation will significantly increase the amount of water used by the city. To combat this, we can install waste treatment plants that will recycle all the water used by the city for both reusable drinking water and water for irrigation and farming. Alright, in combination with this, I would also like the city of Phoenix, once it has the money and resources, to start installing vertical farming. They're in the desert. They use most of their water from the Colorado River and import most of their vegetation from outside states. By introducing indoor farming, especially vertical farming, as you can see in the bottom right-hand picture, we can simultaneously reduce water consumption for farming, reduce energy consumption for farming, reduce the overall space for farming, and the citizens of Phoenix will have a local farm to grow and their own produce without having to go anywhere or import it from anywhere. And they can grow most of their vegetation year-round since it will be in controlled conditions. To top this off, for future developments of the city, I would encourage them to create it in a more chaotic landscape or layout. Alright, because physics shows that the more grid-like a structure is, the more trapped in heat. So a more chaotic layout of future developments of Phoenix will help mildly reduce the overall impact of the urban heat island. This is up to you, Phoenix. Do you have to solve this problem? It's up to you. I've offered a few cheap solutions to the problem, but it ultimately is up to you to get out there and make your city better. Good luck.
Thanks for watching.